All right, so this actually really kind of bothers me. I've been going to the same vet for about 4 years now, about 4 years, and I've been loyal to them because I think it's like good and they've been helpful in the past or whatnot. But I took my cat in today to get her anal glands expressed, okay? And I didn't really know anything that cats or dogs ever needed their anal glands expressed, but until kind of recently. It's rare in cats, which is a whole nother story because both of mine are having issues, which I'm thinking maybe it's to do with the food that they're on, which it's a prescription food. But anyway, that's kind of related in a way, but also kind of a different subject that I'm looking into and trying to figure out. So anyway, my cat Tiger, okay, about a month ago, I noticed, okay, I'm not trying to get gruesome, like gross when I'm giving these details, but I think the details are almost kind of necessary to explain what I saw and where my mind was at. So about a month ago, she was going to the bathroom and her number two, her poo, got stuck inside her rear end. It got like halfway in, halfway out. So I went to like clean her up, help, get that situation fixed. And when I was cleaning her up, I noticed that her rear end looked a little bit inflamed. And the only reason that I know that is because my other cat, Leo, he was having issues. This is a while ago. I didn't know what it was at the time until it was too late, but he was having issues with his anal glands. And I noticed at one time that his rear end looked a little bit inflamed, but I didn't think it was that. I didn't think it was to do with his anal glands. I'm pretty proactive when it comes to like taking care of stuff, but it didn't really stand out to me as something that was that big of a deal. So with him, his anal gland actually ruptured, and so then I realized, oh, that was that. So I kind of recognize, okay, when it looks kind of inflamed in this way, then that's a sign that they need their anal glands expressed, which again goes back to it being rare, because it's rare in cats, and let alone two cats in the same house. But anyway, so with him, once his anal gland ruptured, I took him in and he got treated and whatnot. This is all about a year ago, and ever since then, I take him back in on a regular basis, roughly every 2 to 3 months, to get his anal glands expressed. And I can't always tell just from looking at his rear end if he needs it or not. It's not very clear to me. If it looks how it looked before they ruptured, then I can kind of take that as a sign, but there's been times where I'm not sure that it always looks like that level when he needs to be cleaned out. So I take him back in, and they've usually been able to get stuff out of him, but they have had a time before, once, maybe twice, where they said, oh, he's actually okay, he didn't need any anal gland expression today, so he's fine, he doesn't need it. But sometimes he still does. So anyway, so I say all that to say this. So about a month ago, when Tiger's number 2 got stuck inside her rear end, I was cleaning her up, and I noticed that her rear end looked a little bit like Leo's looked before his anal gland ruptured. And so even when I saw that, I recognized that it was familiar, but I didn't know, does that mean this? Is that just how their rear ends look sometimes? Like, you don't look at their rear ends like every day necessarily, so if there's something seems off, you think, okay, is that normal? Is that not normal? Is it something? Anyway, but I noticed it about a month ago, and I thought, you know what? I was on the fence as if I should go in or not, because I didn't know if it was the same, like, I didn't know if it was the same thing, but I thought, you know what, let me take her in. So I took her into an emergency vet, or like an urgent care type vet that was open later, and called them up and made an appointment. And I halfway expected to get all the way out to the appointment and for them to say, hey, her anal glands are fine. That's just what you saw was not, it doesn't mean that her anal glands were full. So anyway, I halfway expected them to tell me that, but I thought I'd rather just take her in anyway, just for peace of mind. So I took her in, and the vet tech said her anal glands were so full. She said that they were actually the fullest that she had ever seen before in her time working on animals ever. And even the vet, he was like, yeah, they were pretty full. Like, it was, in other words, it was a good thing I brought her in and just decided to be safe than sorry. So it was good that I brought her in. So I said, okay, well, good. And I said, gosh, I'm kind of surprised because my other cat, Leo, he's had issues with his anal glands, and I know it's rare in cats. And so I thought, gosh, is it the water they're drinking? What is it? Like, because it's uncommon. So he's like, I don't know, but that is rare. So, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he, maybe it could have been the food or something, Anyway, like I mentioned before, one's on prescription food, which they say it's good for the other one to eat it too, because she has similar issues. So they've made it clear, okay, it's okay if they both eat it. But anyway, so I told them, I said, well, I take my other cat into the vet, about once every 2 to 3 months roughly, to get his anal glands expressed. Should I start doing the same thing with Tiger? Maybe take her in a month from today's time, a month ago from then, which would be today, to get her anal glands expressed. And they thought that was a good idea. They thought that was a good idea because A, she had a lot in there, as gross as that sounds, and B, I feel like there's some factor that I'm not sure that's making them have that issue. So I'm like, okay, there's probably something going on with something, or maybe it's just luck. But anyway, so they were able to get 60% of the anal gland stuff out of one side of her. The rest, one side they were able to clear out totally. The other side, they said, we got most of it out, but there's still some in there. So I kind of figured, okay, well, maybe there might still be some stuff in. Anyway, so I thought, okay, a month from now, I'll take her in. So that leads me to today. I made an appointment, and I took her in to get her anal glands expressed. And the vet tech came out and took her back. Sometimes I go back with them, but a lot of times on these visits where it's with a vet tech, they don't have me go back. So that's, I don't think too much of it. I figure, okay, well, there's a reason or whatever. It's fine. I don't necessarily need to be there. But anyway, she came out, took her back, and when she came back out to bring Tiger back out, I could tell that she was trying to be very polite about it. Like, you can tell when someone is thinking something, but they're using a good, like, I could tell she was like trying to use her best customer service tone. But she came back out and she kind of made me feel crazy, or like she was trying to make me feel guilty, is what it felt like, because she said, is there a reason that you brought her in to have her anal glands expressed without asking us to check for them first, to check to see if they were full? And that is a really weird question to me, or a very like accusatory question, I should say. It felt very like accusatory. So I said two things. I said, well, I explained about the emergency vet visit that she had a month and a half ago, where it was the most built up that a previous vet tech had ever seen, that it was like a known issue, and that I'm trying to be proactive so that she doesn't have one of her anal glands ruptured. Like, I'm trying to be a good pet owner and be proactive and not get to that point. So I briefly went over that information with her, and I said, well, I guess I just figured that you guys would check first to see if she needed them expressed or not. But the vet tech kind of put it back on me, like, why didn't you tell us to check them out first? Why did you just say, like, in other words, like, I'm the one who did something wrong by not asking them to check? And in my mind, and I'm trying to be like very, like, I'm almost feeling like I have to be defensive. So I'm trying to not get defensive and like watch my tone, and I'm trying to be like as truthful and as transparent about my reasoning. Not it's not like I owe you an explanation, but you are like the professional, who I'm paying to help me out. So in a way, I want the professionals to know the information. And I don't know, this is the thing. If I look at their rear ends and they're a little inflamed looking, then now, since I've seen it twice, I can kind of say, okay, that looks like they probably need their anal glands expressed. But I don't, unless I see that, I don't have any way of knowing if they need their anal glands expressed or not, because they could be acting totally normal, like Tiger was acting normal before, as far as I could tell. And if I hadn't looked at her rear end, I mean, she had poo stuck in there, so that wasn't normal. So that could be a sign too, which actually has happened a couple times since her last emergency visit to the vet. So if that is an indicator, then there you go. So anyway, so I'm like, well, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure how I would know unless I bring her in and have you guys look at her or do it or whatnot. And so it kind of ended, we started to go back in circles because I'm trying to express the point that, well, I assume that you would just check, so I'm like, okay, so next time I need to say just check her out and don't say just do it, because this is the other thing she said too. She said that it was very uncomfortable for the animal to have that done. She was saying Tiger, she was very agitated. She didn't like it at all. It was very uncomfortable for her. So it's kind of like she's putting this guilt trip on me for trying to be proactive and bring her in and have it taken care of. I don't know, that just really bothered me. That's actually kind of upsetting that you would accuse me. Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to do that? Am I sadistic? Do you think I'm trying to be sadistic? Do you think I want to spend my time and money to come in when I don't need to come in? It's almost like she's saying, you did something wrong or bad by bringing her in and not saying, oh, just check it out. Next time say, oh, can you just check it out? Do you not just check it out before you do it? Is that I don't know, it kind of rubs me the wrong way. So it's kind of, it is what it is. It's over now, but it makes me want to find another vet place to look at. I don't know, it's you could tell that she was trying to be polite, but you could also tell, when someone is saying something to your face, but when they're going to walk away and they're going to say something else to someone else behind closed doors. On one hand, I appreciate that you're trying to be polite, but on the other hand, I can see right through what you're doing. You're not pulling one over on me. So anyway, we started to go back in circles where she was saying one thing and I'm giving my standpoint. And so I'm like, okay, at this point, I didn't go into as much detail then as I am right now about it. But at that point, I'm like, okay, well, thank you, have a good day, whatever. I had already prepaid or whatever. So at that point, I'm like, okay, well, thank you, y'all have a good day, whatever. Anyway, that's my story.